Welcome to the Glow Getters podcast. My name is Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, and I'm your host. I teach and inspire leaders to step into their productive selves and find their true potential. I'm a passionate creative and scientist with over 8 years of healthcare leadership experience. At age 25, I stepped into my first management role and didn't find the leadership advice I was looking for. So here I'm giving you the tools to end burnout and enjoy a vibrant career and life. Glad you're here to learn and grow with me. Now, on with the show. Hey, Glow Getters podcast listeners, it's Kayla, your host. Thanks for joining me on today's podcast episode. I'm really excited to have you here because if you're listening in real time, this is coming out a little later in the day because I just knew I had a lot of things going on this morning and I didn't want it to compete with everything that's going on today because guess what? Today is launch day for the Leader Toolkit course. It's October 4th. I've been talking about this for a few weeks now. I'm so excited. I'm not going to rehash everything about the course, but I do want you to know that instead of joining the waitlist at this point, if you're listening, the course is launched and live. And so in the show notes or in my Instagram at Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, my bio there, or on my website at glowgetterslife.com, you can actually just join and enroll in the course at any time. You can get all of the details about the course on the course landing page. It's going to tell you about all 4 modules. It's going to tell you about the value that you're going to gain. You're going to hear a testimonial on there from my good friend Kristen, which is really super fun and nice that she decided to give me that good rating and review of the Leadership Collaborative community and as for me as a leader. And so you can check out all of that stuff and learn more about the course directly there. I am so excited that this is live and into the world. And, I was really reflecting on why I wanted to have this course and why I teach on leadership and why I love leadership so much. And so today's episode is going to be all about that. And it stems from this quote that I found. So I'm going to share in the notes of this podcast episode. I have a PDF that I created. It's like my daily journal page, and it's got a section for gratitude, affirmations, quote of the day, some thoughts for journaling, and then my goals and my habits. And so every day I try to look up a quote because I love inspirational quotes. I've told you all before. I just think they're a great way to sort of reflect and find a piece of truth for you in your everyday. And this morning I found one. It said, kindness is loaning someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. And I couldn't find who originally said this, although I did see someone on Pinterest. Her name is Cassie Cool. I think that's how you say it. It's her Instagram handle is at CASSIEKUEHL. So Cassie, I don't know if you said this yourself or if you found this quote from someone else, but I wanted to give you credit because I found your pin. And I just thought, yeah, that's why I love leadership and why I want to create the course and why I love teaching on leadership. Because here's the thing. As leaders, I think we often feel like we have to solve all the problems or we have to take care of business. And that's true. I mean, we do. That's our job, is to sort of work through things. And if we don't know something, learn about it and figure it out and help other people. But what's even greater and more important is actually helping other people develop themselves. And I'm always really careful with that phrasing. I never want to say I developed somebody because people have to be ready to be on their own development journey, whether that's personal or professional, and they have to take ownership and accountability for what that looks like. And if you think about, there's like a readiness scale or readiness to change scale if you look it up online. But basically, people have to be ready to make these changes. You can't force anybody to be ready or to develop themselves. So, my husband's a physician. He talks about weight loss, for example. People have to be ready to make that lifestyle change or to take care of their diabetes, or to take their medication, or to detox on drugs or alcohol, whatever it is. Like they have to be ready and accepting of that in order to make a change. He can't tell them like you are going to do X, Y, Z. That's up to them. Once you're ready, it's so easy to move forward because you're like, all right, I'm doing this. You've decided. And so I'm always really cautious about saying like, I develop people. Well, no. In my leadership journey, I help other people develop themselves because they need to be ready. But what's so cool when I think about this quote, kindness is loaning someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. As leaders, we can be a source of strength and a pillar for people. But loaning them my strength doesn't necessarily mean like I take care of things or I'm just here to listen or a shoulder to cry on. My strength might be to help people learn and to pass off knowledge that I have so they can have the knowledge. Like, what good is your gift if you keep it all to yourself? Right? Like, what good is it if you learn something amazing and you hold the knowledge for yourself and you never share it with anybody else? Your impact stays small. It ends with you. And I really don't think that's the intention for when you're in a leadership role. Your goal should be to leave a legacy, and not in a selfish way that you just want to leave your mark, but in a selfless way that you genuinely want people to succeed and excel. And you want to remind them of their strengths and the fact that they're going to get through things instead of reminding them that they lack something, of whatever their weakness is. Help them see their weakness and turn it into their strength. Take whatever you know and think about, how can I share it with other people so that my impact is so great and is even greater? So let me give you guys an example. So back in 2013, I think it was, I enrolled, or 14, I don't remember now. I enrolled in my specialism blood banking program. So I got a certification in blood banking. I took a year-long program of schooling. I studied and took a national board exam, and then I passed. And I remember throughout the whole program, I kept thinking like, oh my goodness, I have to share everything I learned with the people that I work with, because like, I can't believe that we've gone this long without people being aware of these tips and tricks and nuances and these, information about genetics and history of antibodies and antigens and all of these nerdy things, right? And, in hindsight, we don't need to know every single little detail in theory in clinical practice. Sometimes the academic piece of all like the little nuances doesn't really matter and how you're going to ultimately take care of the business or the thing. But that being said, my eyes were wide open and I felt like I had information that I had the burden of carrying, and what should I do with it? Shouldn't other people have this information? And so I made it my personal mission to start teaching other people what I knew. And at the time, I taught students. And so I would give them so much information and probably more than they needed. But guess what? Those are the best techs that I have that work in the blood bank now. People that like were interested in learning and ready to take that information and take it to the next level. And what's even cooler now is that I've sought ways for us to bring in ways that students can have more access to go to a specialist in blood banking school. At the time, I paid about $3,000 for the course, and then my board exam was extra. And now programs are $5,000, $7,000, $12,000, $13,000, depending on what kind of program you do. But now my hospital partners with a local blood center, and it's free. Now, I didn't approach that blood center and say, hey, could we partner? But I did sort of like leave clues to everybody I talk with, like, hey, I'd always be interested if one day we had a program. And that bug was in different people's ears, and then it came true. And once that thing was available, I started talking it up all around our health system. I said, everybody needs to do this. And of course, they only take a few students a year, but we've already had 2 students graduate and 2 students are in the program right now. And so now, instead of it just being me as the only SVB who's involved in operations, we have one other person who is more outside of operations as our safety officer. Now we have 2 people who are taking the board exam through that program. And I also had another employee do a separate program. So I have 3 SVBs plus 2 more people in the program for this year. So then there's going to be 5. So in a matter of, since 2014 to 2021, we went from having like 2 people or 1 person to 5, 6, or 7 of us. And this just feels so wonderful because that means that our knowledge is being shared and compounded, and it shows that people are growing and interested in developing and that they see that there's more. And so my biggest takeaway from this is that if I hadn't shown interest and shown people what's possible, then would other people have done the program? I don't know. I can't say for sure it's just because Kayla did the program that now we have other SVBs. But what I can say is that I was able to model that behavior, normalize going back to school, and show people like there's so much more to know. There's so much more to know. And also you should know this. And this is going to really benefit you. And guess what? Then you can teach other people. And so you can see how just one person's impact can all of a sudden compound over and over and over. So when you lend someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness, you help them develop themselves and leave an even bigger legacy than you could have ever imagined. So that is why I'm so passionate about leadership and professional development, because you can't put a price tag on that stuff. People hear this podcast or see my Instagram story or maybe see a post that I put up, and they might never reach out to me and say, hey, you helped me. But I know that by me showing up every day, that does inspire somebody to take action, and maybe I'll never know, and that's totally okay. As leaders, it's not for us to seek, that the thank you or the acknowledgement. It's just to know that we're spreading impact in a selfless way because we know that it's going to compound and benefit multifold more than we can ever imagine. So I want you to think about, what does your kindness look like? And how can you loan someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness? How can you help them better themselves? What is your unique talent? What is your unique contribution on the world that you can share? What is your gift? And how are you sharing it? Because if you're keeping it to yourself, you're staying small, and that impact dies. But if you share it, you have no idea how huge that impact can be, and you can really make a difference in someone's world. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me today. Hope you check out my the Leader Toolkit course. Again, go to my website, linked in the show notes, or the link directly in the show notes to get more information about it. It's open today. It doesn't mean that you can't sign up later. It's self-paced, so it's just going to stay open. So when it's ready for you, I'll be waiting on the inside of the Leadership Collaborative to help support you and guide you through the course and any other specific leadership questions that you have. All right, everybody, take care, and until next time, be a light. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. I wanted to let you know about something new that I'm doing. If you could please leave me a rating and review on iTunes or write in your Apple Podcasts app, I would so appreciate it. Each week, I'm going to be doing a drawing and sending an email to a winner just to say thank you with some treats, tips, and a little bit of extras, because I really want to get this podcast out to more people, and I want to hear how it's helping you, getting feedback about what you love to hear about and what you love about the podcast so I can keep doing that. Also, if you'd like to connect with me on a deeper level, check out my website at glowgetterslife.com. You'll find links to my About Me page so you can learn about me and my journey in leadership. You'll find links to my blog, my podcast for more episodes, and to my YouTube channel. And you can also find links to the templates and leadership planners I've created, as well as my free resource library. All right, thanks so much. And until next time, be a light.